Hello students, welcome to week 1 for Journal 349. This is Dr. Romo, and this week we will be focusing on concepts related to the editing process and understanding what the nature of this course is. Like I mentioned, my name is Dr. Sandra Romo. I'm the program director for the MA and BA Communication and Public Relations programs here at CBU online. I am an assistant professor of communication. I've been with CBU for about 10 years. My office is located in the Tyler Plaza campus. You can find me in Suite 200. My phone number is listed here as well as my email. For those of you that know me, you do know that email is the best way to get in touch with me if you have any issues or questions or concerns. Like I said, this term we will be doing a lot of things related to editing. This course will look a lot different than some of the other courses you've taken, just with the nature of how this course runs. However, I do want to review some things in the syllabus. All discussion board assignments have 2 deadlines. Your original posts, your answers to the prompt, are due on Friday, with your reply posts due on Sunday. In addition to that, the syllabus has different deadlines for week 8, so it's very important that you start to go through that this term in the beginning of the term, so that way you're not surprised when week 8 creeps up on us and the deadlines are not on the weekend. Typically, week 8 ends on Friday, day 5 of the week, so it's very, very important that you keep that in mind as you are looking at the course content. In addition, late work is not accepted under any circumstances. It's very important that you plan ahead and accordingly for any situations that may impact you from getting your work completed on time. And in addition to that, all videos, including the weekly lectures, are required to be viewed in the week that they are posted. If you have any questions with that, let me know. I am looking forward to our interactions, and do know that we have a lot of great content we'll be learning with each other, alongside each other this term. This week we are reading chapters 1 through 3 in our course text, The Art of Editing and the Age of Convergence. We're watching 2 videos. One is on how to become an editor and 4 types of editing. We are also completing 1 discussion board and a journal entry. Our discussion board is due on Friday with reply posts due on Sunday, and journal entry number 1 is due on Sunday. I want to spend some time looking at what our weekly objectives are for this week. You'll notice throughout the course you'll be exposed to each week to the objectives that we are trying to accomplish. This helps us spend time not just in looking at what we are learning, but focusing on what we should be learning from the content. So this week we have 4 things we're going to do. We're going to discuss and explain the editing process. In our reading, we're going to examine the editing for convergent media process. We're going to explore the function of the audience and the editing process, as well as beginning to put together a plan for completing coursework this term. It's important to know that the course does require you to have 2 texts, the AP Style Manual and the course text, The Art of Editing and the Age of Convergence. When you look through the AP Style Manual, you'll notice it's not something that we can really read very easily. Rather, that's a workbook we'll be using to go through some of our different assignments, our quizzes that we have, and in completing our critical assignment. It's our guidebook that tells us how to write journalistically, and we use it more in that sense. It's not really something that we sit through and we read on a weekly basis like we would in a different type of course textbook. The first discussion we have this week is discussion number 1. You will need to write at least 400 words related to the prompt below. So you'll need to look at what the value of a copy editor is. Is the editor a manager or leader? What makes a good editor? What traits do they have? What do they do? What are the 3 R's of copy editing? What should the editor understand about its audience? And what is the role of an editor in convergent media environment? Do keep in mind that discussion board number 1 is 400 words. Your reply posts need to be at least 250 words. This is due on Friday with your replies due on Sunday. If you have any questions with that, please let me know. I look forward to interacting with you on that this term. Journal entry number 1 asks you to complete 5 questions. The first journal prompt is designed for you to get acquainted with what the course content is. We complete 3 of these throughout the term. It is the idea of the term that you will spend 3 points in the term thinking about your reading, about your learning, and how it relates to the course. So that's metacognition, thinking about what we are learning. I want you to spend time thinking about what you already know about public relations campaigns, how this relates to editing, how does it relate to public relations, why is it important you learn the material in this course for your career, what do you already know about the course, what would you like to do by the end of the course with this material, and so on and so forth. That is due on Sunday. I want to spend some time giving you an overview of the critical assignment for this term. The critical assignment is not due until the end of the term. However, it is very important that we get started on this early on in the course because it takes more than just a week to develop. You're going to create your own style guide. So you have a course text that's called the AP Style Guide that's meant to help you look at and understand how you're going to write journalistically and edit papers journalistically. The practice of this is for you to develop editing skills. You will create your own personal style guide that contains AP style entries. So you're going to make your own workbook. You're going to have 5 topics under each letter. You'll notice that, or each section, and each section is a letter of the alphabet with the exception of X, Y, and Z. That's one section itself. You'll pick 5 topics under each section, and you'll put the definition as well as, well, the explanation is a definition as well as a sentence that helps you see that. So copy the rule you selected, write a little explanation for each topic, as well as provide a use of it within a sentence. It's very important that you get started on this early. If you get started on this now, you'll find that you will not have a ton of work for you at the end of the term. It is definitely not a project that you can finish in 1 week. Remember, this is due in week 7, so it's very important that you spend a lot of time on this. Beginning this week, you have 6 weeks to do it, so I would divide some up and create a plan to get that done. I wanted to spend some time looking at what the editing process is and provide an overview of editing for you today. So when we look at this, we know that good editing really depends on the exercise of good judgment. For that reason, we know that editing is an art. It's not a science. And we need to be sure that in some aspects of editing, accuracy, grammar, and spelling are, for example, there are right and wrong answers, as often is the case in science, but editing also involves discretion. It's important to know when to use which word, when to change a word or two for clarity, and when to leave the passage as the writer has written it. Making right decisions like this really shows that editing is an art. It's important to know that we're going to stress skills for print publications in general, as well as newspaper copy desks, and then move to online and convergent media within the course of this term. We all know that editing skills are needed in corporate communications and in every aspect of public relations and journalistic work. You'll find that when we edit briefs for attorneys for courts, or what we do in many different things, that we need to learn to write clearly and simply. Editors really need to understand that their job is not just of a manager, but of a leader. From the management aspect, an editor gets things done through other people and focuses on maintaining standards, where their leadership role will result in seeing that people are innovative, see the need to change, and embrace change throughout the editing process. When we come into this, we need to know that editors, the best editors, will typically have a passion and detailed knowledge for grammar, spelling, style, punctuation, usage, and tightening, a love of good writing and the ability to see the potential in any piece of writing, then also the skill to help bring it out, or the good sense to know when we need to leave that piece alone. Knowledge of graphic processors, typefaces, and other aspects of the publication process will help you in knowing that good design is not only just a part of the editing process, but of how we read and grasp concepts and content throughout any type of web or print device. An interest for anything and a broad grasp of the news. One wouldn't want to play a game of trivia against a good editor. They should have a good knowledge of what's going on around them. A good editor will have a knowledge of enough mathematics and accounting to calculate percentages and read budgets and to see if they really add up, as well as having a mind that lets them see embarrassing double meanings before they are published, as well as self-confidence to know how to improve any reporter's writing, but the maturity enough to not to rewrite everything into the editor's own style. The ability to handle people, whether freelance writing or writers or staff members and sources or subscribers, sound business and management, as well as a clear vision for the organization's purpose, personality, and audience when they are editing. It's these things that we will keep in mind and we will learn throughout the term as we learn specifics and getting into the editing process. You're going to learn, and this class is going to feel a lot like a grammar class or an editing class where we are actually learning and doing basic copy editing that's related to looking at sentences and deconstructing them in some of those ways. Keep that in mind. We are reading chapters 1 through 3 this week. We're watching 2 videos on how to become an editor and 4 types of editing, as well as completing discussion board number 1 by Friday, with reply posts due on Sunday, and journal entry number 1, which is due on Sunday. If you have any questions, let me know. I look forward to interacting with you this week, and please reach out if you need me at any point. God bless.